Communication has been a fundamental part of human coexistence over time. The borders have become smaller and smaller, making the need to learn new languages to be able to communicate with others, with our neighbors, and thus be able to establish ties not only social, if not also economic, political, and intellectual. The world is growing fast and people need to communicate. Many schools in the world use bilingual education. It is obligatory to learn many languages. The mother language, English, and other languages. It is causing you to start teaching at such an early age basic knowledge in different languages. Patrick Gleason said that public schools offered more Spanish 69%, French 12%, and German 3%. Chinese, a language with obvious political and economic significance in the 21st century, was taught to only 2% of grade school children talking a foreign language, together with English. From my point of view, learning several languages is very important. I was living for more than 3 years in Germany, in which I not only learned German and lived with Germans, but also with many people from different parts of the world, both India, Saudi Arabia, Israel, Egypt, Australia, United States, Italy, among other countries, and the language we use in addition to German was English, was one of the ways in which we can communicate more easily with each other. That is why I agree that from a very young age children will begin to impart a culture where learning languages is one of the fundamental bases, and that in the schools from the basic grades they will begin to give subjects such as mathematics, social, science, in other languages, so that they have in the future many more possibilities than we who are older, that we go out to look for better standards of life, and that we have to start from scratch to do it. And it is something that I would like on my part, that the next generations do not have to start from scratch to start a life in another country. If we take into account all of the above life experiences, the words of an expert, the words of a mother, you realize that in this world which is constantly growing, the need to be able to communicate not only in your mother tongue, but at what time it is necessary to have knowledge of several languages to be able to communicate with all the people around you, since the cultural exchange is just around the corner, and when you have it in front you will understand the need to be able to speak several languages. It is important that your children have access from a very early age to basic knowledge of different languages, and in this way make the world that they will have in the future this reach of their hands, and thus have a much better life than one can wish. And this is not only for their children but also for each one of us, since if you put interest and the necessary motivation, you can improve your living conditions and make your way in this place where the time is competing to have a decent job. Also, many doors will be opened to people who can speak different languages. They will be able to relate much better to other people and to have very good jobs, because the language barrier will be reduced a great deal. What would you do if you had learned another language? What would you do if a company offered you to work in another country?